the sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
Yo, happy Friday to all. And shout out to a functioning stream. I'm back in the office. I actually sent out an apology post on the website today just for this week because first the internet goes out on Tuesday and the whole show gets ruined. I was out without internet that entire night. And then yesterday I had been invited to go to that Phillies game with my friends from high school. They asked me like 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So I was already locked in. When the stream went on Tuesday night, I wouldn't have taken Thursday off like that. So it was kind of just some bad timing in there. You guys were kind of hard on Prop Beaver. Running OBS is hard. There's a reason a lot of other streamers, their screens don't look like this. Like there's a lot to this. So you guys got to lighten up on him a little bit. He'll get better at it. But yeah, here we go. It's Friday night. There's a lot of action on the board. As of right now, I only have 3 bets open, but like I said, I was a little behind schedule, so I'm hoping to talk to some guests here and increase my tickets. I have 3 bets open right now. I haven't even bet this NBA game yet. I am going to bet it, and I think I know what I'm going to bet, but I want to hear what you Capper thinks. I want to hear what Chris thinks before I do. So, all right, let's start with the NHL. Panthers, Rangers, Game 2. Panthers took the first one, right?
Yep, they took the first one, 3-0.
Are they taking the second one?
I mean, like in my opinion, this is like one of the hardest sides to choose in the playoffs so far for me. Like to me, like Florida in Game 1 on Wednesday, Edmonton last night, like those are blatantly obvious picks for me. But like here, it's really hard to pick a side. We know for a fact that Florida is by far the better team. New York is the weakest team left in the playoffs, but this spot just seems like a Rangers spot off the loss at home. Looks like Matt Rempe's going to play for the Rangers tonight. I think all that could really do is give the Rangers and the crowd that morale boost. I mean, the fans love him. He's out there fighting. He's going to get the team fired up. But I don't want any part in the Rangers here. I mean, I'd like to get like at least like plus 130 maybe with them on the road if I'm going to back them. If I had a gun to my head here, I'd take the Panthers here. I mean, it's too short to pass up. But of course, everyone's betting the Rangers once again, of course. But for me, I think the under is the better play in this one. I know I said before overs in the series and the move early, but I think Game 1 is really indicative of how this series is going to go. Obviously this is a series with great goaltending. Bobrovsky was literally unbeatable in Game 1. He pitched a shutout, 3-0 win for the Panthers. But of course, you got to give Igor Shesterkin credit too. He really only allowed 1 real goal in the game. I mean, the Panthers scored the second one. It was an own goal by Alexi Lafreniere on the Rangers. He tipped it into his own goal. So like the Rangers scored on themselves to make it 2-0. And then the Panthers scored on the empty net. They made it 3-0. So yeah, I mean, I think the Rangers will be more competitive here, but not necessarily with their offense. Like, I don't think they have the ability to come out and score 3 to 4 on the Panthers. Like, I don't think they can do that at all. Maybe 2, maybe 3, but I think they can do well enough in shutting down the Panthers, at least enough to stay in the game. I mean, it's interesting to see what the totals are going to be set at later in the series. If this one soars under, I mean, we might see them opening at an even 5 if this one ends at 2-1. But like at 5.5, I still like it. So
what about if you said gun to your head, you would lean Panthers? What about a Rangers team total under 3? I'm assuming that's where the price is on that.
It's at 2.5 actually. So like I don't really want that.
Yeah, that's a little. All right. So under 5.5. System Plays having a good playoffs here. Make sure you guys give him a follow. We appreciate him taking the time out to come out. That's his Twitter right there, the System Plays. He's also tagged in a bunch of my tweets. When I tweet out the schedule, he's tagged right there. So make sure you give him a follow, show him some support. System Plays, we'll talk to you later, man. I'll let you know I'm still figuring out what the schedule is for tomorrow, so I'll let you know.
Okay. All right, I'll see you.
Time for some WNBA, and we have 11 minutes, actually. There was only one NHL game, so we didn't need 15. What do you guys want to talk about? We got 11 minutes. Might as well just get the poll up now. When's soccer coming? I don't know. I don't really have a soccer guy. I have Scoop, but Great interview with the ball. Oh yeah. Thanks, man. I see he posted that up while I was at the game, so I didn't even actually watch that until late last night. So a lot of the comments were positive. I appreciate it. Kyle, can you give me any advice on starting my sports betting channel? I would say try to keep it as factually based as you can. In the beginning, I think this is applicable across the board, but in the beginning, especially, no one cares about your opinion. No one knows who you are, and I still think that to this day. My opinion's worth nothing. Keep it fact-based. If my content is 95% fact, then even when someone watches it that doesn't like me, they can't even argue with what I'm saying because I'm just giving facts. And at the end, I share my bet. But in a perfect world, I'd love to upload videos that don't even include my bet at the end. I would just like to do the handicap because people can't argue with the facts. People are like, oh, that's actually good data. Even though I don't like this guy, I can't argue with any of that. Those are stats. Those are numbers. So I would say try to keep it as factually based as you can because, I mean, data is the best content in my opinion. Have S-Dot on your channel. If you see S-Dot up here on the panel, that's how you know Sauce Network has hit rock bottom and we're truly you should get Kinta loves sports for WNBA. Oh, she does WNBA? Kinta loves sports. I'll write her down. Kinta loves sports. Sports. I'll check it out and see if I can reach out to her or something. Thank you. Clean 9 years. Good to hear it, man. Yeah, I mean, I really don't talk about that much because I don't know, because it always comes with like a stigma, and also I'm not really in recovery anymore. I mean, I drink occasionally. Probably 2 or 3 times a year I'll puff on some weed, so I'm not like in sobriety or anything, but yeah, definitely awesome to hear, man. I'm playing high stakes esports. You want to talk over cooperation? I don't do any of that, man. Is that where you bet on people playing video games? Sauce, is this your full-time job? Yeah, I have 10 employees. We're growing. But also recommend Andy Francis for hockey. Gives a variety of bets, props, team totals. Andy Francis, all right. Andy Francis. Got it. Thank you. You saw me at AA for the last 6 months? Must be a doppelganger, man, because I promise you I ain't been there. Sauce, you related to Sauce Gardner? Yeah, it's my younger brother. Can you see the resemblance? Sauce, what's your max bet you placed? I am not like a high roller like that. Anyone in the Discord can see my slips. I bet $200 games, $250 games. I don't put down huge bets. I mean, I think I've put down a $1,000 bet once, but no, I'm not like that. I'm not a huge bettor in that regard. That's not how I do things. Mr. U Capper, what's up, pal?
What up, dude?
Let's give Chris another few minutes to join. But how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Had a little drought there. I talked to you about it.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about it. You said you
I was in a badass losing streak.
You said like 3-12 stretch or something. Like
it was nasty. But like I said, dude, like it all balances out. Like right before that, I was on a nice streak, and so. Still positive on the year, still positive on the season and all that stuff. But it's just one of those things when you get on a losing streak. Sometimes it's tough to get back on track. But sure. Yeah, we're back on track.
And you know what happens to everybody, by the way, myself included, is your confidence gets messed with, and then all of a sudden, like for example, this is a perfect example. So I went on a nice little stretch in the second round where I went 6-1 in NBA bets over a 7-bet stretch. Then I lost 3 in a row. Now, last night was the Celtics. I really liked Boston's team total over. That's what I gave out in the video. I really liked that. I only bet 0.75 units on it because my confidence just wasn't.
Yeah.
But I really like that. You could hear it in my voice when I did that video. I was like, this feels like a safe bet to me. And so it's important not to let it, just as much as I do. It's important not to let it affect your decision making and stay confident. I mean, that kind of shit happens to anyone, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was talking to some friends and then they were asking me like, hey, do you kind of like lower the amount of bets that you do? And in my head, I was like, no, because it's the same process every single day. And even some of these losses that I had were like by a point or by like a bucket, you know what I mean? And then obviously there were some that were just nasty where I lost by like they didn't cover by like 20 points or whatever it was. But man, those happen too. And you can't really control what happens. You just do your best that you can when you cap the games. And I'm not going to change my capping from a little losing streak or whatever. But it's always I think I talked to you about it. Is like, dude, people don't see. They'll see what happened in the last 5 days, not what happened in the previous year prior to that. You know what I mean? Like, so.
But
that's the toughest part.
Yeah,
that's the toughest part to be on this side of it. We just get the shit talking to us, but they don't see the big picture.
Yeah, we want to hear something funny. So last week, I think it was Wednesday, Ski came on. He gave out between the WNBA and the NBA, he gave out 4 bets. His bets went 3-1. Someone commented and goes, Ski, that under in the Fever was garbage. So
that was the one that they called out.
So it gets funnier. So I get that comment and I screenshot it and I send it to Ski and I was like, bro, you went 3-1, but this pick was garbage. And he responded, he goes, it lost by a bucket. And I went and checked it. It lost by 1 basket at the end.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy.
He went 3-1 in his lost on a last second bucket. Garbage.
Yeah. Oh man. Some crazy stuff.
Yeah. So you mean to tell me like that's a garbage pick, but if they miss that shot, great pick? Like a good pick doesn't become a bad pick with 1 play. If it came down to 1 play, that means it was a coin like that's funny shit, man.
Some wild stuff.
Scott Gallagher, I started going lighter on parlays. Scott, come on, man. You've been watching a while. Stop placing those parlays.
What you talking about? Those community parlays always hit.
Best value on the internet, bro. Those community parlays.
What'd you do on baseball today?
I got all right. So the bets I have down, I like the under in Twins Rangers, but the total almost feels too high. So I think I might be walking. I'm definitely playing. Feels a little square. I like that under.
Did you get the 8.5?
No, I got 9 at -120.
Fuck. Well, I got 8.5.
But I mean, I paid juice for it. It's on DraftKings. It was -129. I also took the first 5 under in that same game, so I actually have 2 unders in that game. I took the Cards +135. I took the Cardinals.
Hey, you know what's hella funny? So you know how like the website has, for the MLB page that we have, it has like all these pieces to it, right? And one of the things I used ChatGPT and I said, hey, can you look at this page? Because I wanted to see if we're missing anything. I was like, hey, can you look at this page and tell me what you can see as potential profitable bets based on the information you see only on this page?
What happened?
Fucking went 4-0, dude.
Shut up.
Here, let me read it to you real quick.
I've been using ChatGPT to build out some spreadsheet. That shit is a cheat code in life.
It is a cheat code.
I signed up for like the ChatGPT Plus. Like I'm in.
It said, all right. So it looked at the Padres Reds yesterday, right? So I gave it every piece of the webpage. Only use the stats. It said Padres to win the full game, Padres over the total runs, Padres first 5 over runs, and Matt Waldron strikeouts.
And it went 4-0.
It went 4-0, bro. Like I woke up and I was like, oh shit, it hit every single one of them.
Bro, we need to be the first ones to bring on an AI robot guest to a pick show.
But I was like, so the idea behind it. So I was talking with my business partners. I was like, hey, the idea behind it was, do we have everything on our page, right, to make profitable decisions? And I was like, shit, if AI can do it, that means we have.
That means the info's there.
It's there. It's just
Yeah.
how do you interpret the data, right? So, well, I'm gonna test it out a couple more times and see how things go. And
So someone asked in the comments, Kyle, can you explain how to use ChatGPT for spreads? Okay, so the way I've been using ChatGPT is slightly different than what he just explained. The way I've been using it is to build out those spreadsheets that you see that I use. I'll be like to ChatGPT, be like, yo, when I type in the away team, DET, for Detroit, I want it to display this, this, and this here. And ChatGPT will give me the formula to automatically display that data. So I've been using it to build out spreadsheets more so. What he just said, that's why I was laughing, because I had never heard anyone use it in that respect before. But you're
Yeah,
crazy
so I did-
if you don't
so,
think I'm
you know, the
trying that.
scrapers-
I'm trying that this weekend though.
the scrapers and all that stuff, like that's how I figured out how to do it
Yeah,
too.
dude.
So
I don't know if I'll
it-
ever hire a
it's
coder
cool.
again, man. ChatGPT does it for free.
you don't gotta hire nobody anymore.
Yeah. So it's 4:01. Chris, looks like we're not. Chris will probably be here any second. You think Sauce will ever bring Jay Money in on NBA? Yeah, I've invited him several times. So hopefully at some point he comes on.
I think he's in Vegas this week.
Is he?
I talked to him. Yeah, I talked to him last week. I think he's gonna be in Vegas.
I've sent him a couple DMs and I've responded to his tweets before, but we've never talked, so he doesn't know me. So like he might not even have seen it or whatever. But all right,
I'll ask him.
see if he wants to come on. Indiana Fever road favorites. Say what? Road favorites here, laying 1.5 points. There's someone isn't there an injury on LA right now? I think I remember someone saying the Sparks are missing somebody. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Or the Fever just a 1.5 better than LA in LA? Like are the Sparks that bad?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I didn't bet anything on this game yet. I was actually waiting to hear what Chris was gonna say, and if he said the same thing, then I was gonna confirm my bet. But I don't see anyone that's super important. I think Azura Stevens is one of those tall, lengthy girls on the Sparks team, one of their bigs. But I don't think that's. I mean, as much as the Fever have Aaliyah Boston and Nalissa Smith, I don't know how important that is from the Sparks side, because they got Brink. Brink is a defensive stopper on the Sparks side. Hamby is that girl that plays. She's like, I keep continue to compare people to people like Josh Hart, who can play a whole game, does all the little things to help your team win. And that's her for the Sparks, right? She's that glue person. So the way that I would look at this was more so on the Sparks side and potentially to the over. So if I was to combine it together, I was really looking towards the Fever team, Sparks team total over, and there's a few reasons why. So Sparks, they're the more rested team. They've only played 3 games compared to the Fever, already played 5 in the season. This is the second game in the West Coast for the Fever as well, so that's the whole travel spot. Do you hear that?
Yeah, that was Chris joining in the background. I think he was hitting his mic.
Okay, and then this is the first game, like you mentioned, the Fever are favored, and to me, I think it's a stretch to have them favored in a road position, especially in this spot. I mean, I could see maybe favored at home, with the Sparks, but on the road, I think that's going to be tough. And both of them, so from a statistical standpoint, I think neither team is really that great defensively, which is why I look towards the over in this one. And the Fever specifically are actually dead last in defensive rating in the league. The Sparks actually efficient from the field. The reason why they have a low offensive rating, though, is because they turn the ball over at the high rate. But if you look at the Fever side, they're 11th in the league in forcing turnovers. So that piece of it, I think that kind of balances out, right? So if they're going to continue to be efficient offensively from a scoring perspective, right? Efficiency field goal. If they're not going to turn over the ball, I'm expecting them to score a lot more points. And then also, the Fever they struggle against transition and in the paint, which is 2 things the Sparks do well, and that's where Hamby comes in. So from a player prop perspective, I would look towards Hamby because she can run the court, score in transition. She can also beast in the paint. So for me, if I was to look at this game, I would look towards the Sparks team total over as the play. Another thing to look at too, from a trend perspective, potential play on the Sparks in the first half, because just just in general from a trend perspective. 2-0 ATS in the first half as dogs. Fever 0-3 ATS on the road. So that kind of calls each other out too as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, knowing nothing about the WNBA, I look at this matchup, and my first thought is, wait a second, you're going to give me points for the home team against the Indiana Fever? How do I not take that? So I will put, after hearing what you said, I'll put Sparks plus 1.5. I don't know if I actually bet it, but that would be the side I would pick. Someone said in the comments, Chris looks distraught today. Are you distraught, Chris?
Bro, it's been, first I just want to say it's been a super long week in general, but today's been crazy. And the reason why I was looking so distraught when I first joined was because the last 2 times Kyle tried to do your show, my audio felt like it's been crazy. So I was trying everything, and I think what happened was my mic actually got disconnected, and somehow it turned into my speaker was on my mic when it shouldn't have been, so I couldn't hear from this. So anyway, I think I got it figured out now, and
sounds
that
good
makes me
now.
feel better. Yeah,
No burping.
Feel a lot better.
No burping, no Chris be quiet.
Yeah, Chris be quiet. Yeah, and no Chris be burping. Yeah, Chris be late. All that good stuff. I love it.
Chris be late.
Chris be late. I love it. So I couldn't even hear at the beginning RC's breakdown, but what I did hear him say, I absolutely agree with here. And you said it too, guy. Like, this is an 0-5 Fever team. Now, granted, they do have a matchup tomorrow, but they're probably going to get absolutely ran off the floor tomorrow against the Aces. I think the Aces are laying like 12.5, so you got them on the second leg of a back-to-back, traveling from crypto to Vegas. And I don't like the rest advantage here. RC actually taught me this maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, specific to the WNBA specifically. You got a Sparks team here that has one more day of rest before the game and one more day of rest after the game. They actually don't play again until Monday. And those teams historically, I think, are cashing about 75%. I gave you this trend last time I came on, Kyle. So and we're just talking about money line. That's been a very profitable angle here. And who lays points on the road? Who lays points with a road team that hasn't won a game yet? So it's only Sparks plus the points here. I didn't bet it either, but when I did my show this morning, it was 2.5. And I said I would only be taking them. So I'll probably end up staying off the game overall. But yeah, it's the only way I'm looking. I do think that Sparks team total to go over. And Sparks first half is definitely a good look. But for whatever reason, Fever, they tend to struggle and then have to fight back. And they get some late covers because they have covered 3 games in a row.
Well, I'm a little shocked by the poll here because 362 people that are watching have voted on this poll. 51% said they're laying with Indiana and 33%. So, again, having very little knowledge of the WNBA myself, I thought that everyone would be like, oh, we're taking LA there. But that's not the case. A lot of our viewers are down to lay the points with good old Caitlin Clark here on the road.
Real quick, Kyle, let me ask RC this. RC, do you feel comfortable laying the points with either one of these teams? Do you feel like either one of them should be a favorite?
Not really.
So that's why I didn't do it. That's why I didn't do it. Okay.
It's not really. All right, let's talk NBA.
Okay, let me go first because I gotta cut out.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this Mavs game, we talked about it in the chat, Kyle. Like we were locked in that first game. Mavs, money line against.
You were.
Spread,
I had the under, bro.
Over.
You were locked in, not me. I had the under.
Yeah. So,
RC, what happened was, RC, you said Dallas team total over in the chat. Yeah. And my mic was messing up that day, so I tried to write it down and show them what you were saying.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I think game 2 though. I think this is a classic zigzag in my opinion. I think from both the side and total perspective. I did take the Wolves -5 last night. If I were to look to, I didn't bet the total, but I think I would lean more towards the under than anything. For me, I think the Wolves they're going to make the necessary adjustments on the defensive side of the ball, especially from the points in the paint, right? Because they scored 62 in the paint, and during the whole season, who was number 1 in limiting paint production, right? It was the Wolves. And I think they get back to that. Whether or not, obviously on the Mavs side, I think if you look at from what happened, after the trade deadline, I think they were actually top 5 in efficiency offensively in the paint too. So as much as they're going to be successful, I still think that the defense shows up here from Minnesota. So they're not going to score 62. That means they're going to have to kick it out, rely on these role players to hit that corner 3 or the mid-range or whatever it might be. And if those easy lay-ins or lobs to Lively and PJ and all these guys turn into missed threes, that's going to bring their offensive efficiency down a little bit, in my opinion. And that's that's the main reason why I was looking towards the Wolves and the under I mean, like I was watching Ski Show and I was like, hey, what do you guys think about the team total under? And they didn't really have an opinion on it, but I think that's where the biggest adjustment is going to be, in my opinion. I think you turn 4 of those layups into missed threes, they're at 100, right? I mean, that's how I think of it from that standpoint. And this is a team from a defensive standpoint that can make those adjustments. They have the skill set to do it. You know, with Gobert and Cat and all these guys and McDaniels. You know, these. I mean, 2 out of those 3 are all defensive players, right? So, in my opinion, from the offensive side of the ball, you know, based on these interviews and posts, whatever, Ant is going to be more aggressive, getting to the lane. We're not going to see the 53s that they shot in game 1. I think in the regular season, they only averaged 33 shot attempts, 3-point shots per game. Like, that's a big adjustment from what they normally do. I don't know if that's the Mavs defense that made them adjust, or did they just were they just that emotionally high off beating the Nuggets that they fucked up their game? You know what I mean? So I think they get back into a slow paced game. They get back to what they do best. And that's pretty much muck up the game, right? Play an ugly game, because that's the way that they like to win. And when they do that, they're at their best. They should be able to me, win this game and go under. So I only bet the Mavs this time around, but I'm still trying to figure out if I want to take the under or even the Mavs team total under. But those are the ways that I would look.
Hold on, you bet the Timberwolves, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, the Wolves. I bet the Wolves.
So I do agree on the under. But after that, I think I'm the only person in the world. Only person of like my group of people I talk to that likes Dallas. All right.
And Kyle, I got to bounce though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, tomorrow morning we'll hop on. He's going to be here tomorrow morning for like 10 minutes before his other show. So see you tomorrow morning. All right.
Best of luck tonight, bro.
So what you Capper just said about Minnesota offensively in the paint is 100% fair. They got absolutely dominated. It was like, 63 to 20 or to 38 points in the paint or something. Dallas absolutely bullied Minnesota on the interior. They also won the rebounding battle. Here's the thing. Why are we acting like we didn't just see Dallas do that every single game against Oklahoma City as well? We just saw it. So, yeah, we can maybe see that rebound discrepancy. Be like, oh, no way. The Wolves are going to get out-rebounded by Dallas again. But if you were playing that game in last series, you would have lost every time, because every single game, Dallas out-rebounded the Thunder. And yes, Oklahoma City's not a good rebounding team, but Minnesota, despite, if you look at their roster on 2K, or if you look at them, they look like a great rebounding team, but they're really not. They're an average to a slightly below average rebounding team. So I don't think it's crazy to think Dallas could battle with Minnesota as far as rebounding. Keep in mind, Dallas has a lot of youth, a lot of length, a lot of quote-unquote hustle players that are going to grab these boards. So I don't think that's necessarily a huge area of progression for Minnesota. I expect them to do a better job scoring the ball inside, and I expect them to do a better defensive job on the interior as well. So I do see the regression there for Minnesota in that respect, but why are we acting like Dallas didn't just shoot 24% from 3 and still win on the road? They just shot 24% from 3 and won a road game. What if Dallas comes out and shoots 38% in this game? What are they going to win by 25 points? They just shot terribly from outside in that game and still won. I think that the Dallas defense isn't getting enough credit. And Minnesota offense is a unit that I never really thought was great. Sure, they came out in the playoffs. They lit Phoenix up. And there was a couple games where they lit Denver up. But since Game 3 of last series, Minnesota's offense hasn't been that great. Yeah, they won the series against Denver. It's not like they look terrible, but Minnesota's offense has been looking like Minnesota's offense looked during the regular season. And you got a Dallas defense that just made Oklahoma City's offense look silly. So I don't think it's crazy to think Dallas defense is going to give this offense problems all season. And that outside shooting, if Dallas was hitting their threes in game 1, they would have won by 25 points. It would have been a blowout. They shot 24% from 3 and still won. So I know that these series, when you take a step back, and there's always two ways, right? There's the handicapping way, and then you also have to take a step back and be like, what can I see happening? That's the other way. And if you go this way, I could see Minnesota evening the series up. So I get that. I could see that happening as far as how the storyline of the NBA works. But as far as what we saw on the court and what we've seen on the court last couple weeks, I think you shouldn't be laying 5.5 points to Dallas. So I'm going to take it. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm going to bet it. And I might even bet the under as well, especially since UCapper co-signed it. I was leaning that way. The problem is, and Chris will probably agree with this, I thought entering the series, this was an under matchup. And I took the under in game 1. But neither team really shot well, and it still went over. So, like, how could I bet the under in game 2? So, if you go by how I think these teams match up, I think it's an under matchup. But if you go by how these teams looked in game 1, that would point you towards the over. So, I'm a little more indifferent about that, but I'm going to take the points. Chris?
Yeah. So the thing about this series and the reason why I feel like it zigzags, I'm not betting Minnesota full game. But I am going to bet them first half. You can get a -3.5. And for me, the part that I feels like you're missing in the handicap is the motivational factor. Not that Dallas won't be extremely motivated, but that home favorite. I know you looked into this, Kyle, because you know how to SDQL now. That home favorite after a loss as a home favorite is a very, very strong trend. I also think we see the desperation. I like to look at these quotes from the coaches as well. And Coach Chris Finch kind of got into his team, man. He said, I told the guys, it's been a long time since I've been this disappointed in their effort. Your performance, your attitude, your application, and your attention to detail just wasn't there. The Western Conference Finals started. Not sure if they got the memo, but they got it this afternoon. That was yesterday after the film session. I think I really liked the Dallas Mavericks a lot in game 1. And that's one of the reasons why I took the +4.5 and I played their team total over 1-on-1. But for me, that was more so of a fade. Did you see how gassed Anthony Edwards was trying to guard Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And if you go and look at the numbers, Kyle, teams, specifically home favorites, coming off of Game 7 are always a fade. It's pretty much always that way. Like the Game 7 trends, I think they're 10 and 11 straight up, 6-14 and 1 against the spread was the strong trend that I found for Game 1. But I do think this is a zigzag series here. So a couple things I looked at outside of this quote. You talked about like just deep diving into it. You talked about the Mavericks shooting the ball better from the 3-point line. I do think that's going to happen. This was their 3-point shooting in game 1, but this was their points in the paint, Kyle. So this comes down and this goes up, and it still kind of evens itself out. Somebody asked me that question earlier. I think that they're going to shoot way better than 24%. I would agree, but I also don't think that Minnesota's going to give up pretty much 70 points in the paint either. So I think that regresses out a little bit, and then I'm gonna just be short. I'll be short. Home favorites off a loss. You know, I got my trends. Home favorites off a loss that are favorites again in game 2. 71-18 straight up. That's 80%. 52-36-1 against the spread. That's 60%. They're +7 in the first half, and since the 2020 season, so just going back 4 years, they're +8 in the first half. 12-4 against the spread. 13-3 straight up. If the home favorite, Kyle, is coming off a game 7, the game before, and they lose game 1, and then their favorites in game 2, 9-2 straight up, only 5-6 against the spread, so that favors you, but they're 8-3 to the under and a +8 in the first half. So all of those reasons make me think, I mean, Timberwolves, you can't go to Dallas down 0-2. So I do think maybe Dallas kind of perseveres and weathers the punches, but Timberwolves got to be super motivated. And I think it's an energy thing too. I didn't expect them to play a Minnesota style type game. They need their defense to play a lot better, and I think that it will be a little bit more locked in. You definitely need Rudy Gobert to get out of that drop coverage, because Kyrie and Luka it's barbecue chicken over there. So you need that to happen. But yeah, I think Timberwolves early is my favorite spot in this game.
T-Wolves first half minus, I guess it's at 3, right?
3.5.
3.5. Yeah, and I mean, you're leaning towards Minnesota. Ski's on Minnesota. UCapper's on Minnesota. Like the guys that I usually talk to that I'm curious like where they're betting, I'm on my lonesome with Dallas. And I am, if you're wondering, if you're like, Kyle, I didn't see this bet on the website, it's because I literally didn't take it yet, but I will be. You have my word on that. I am going to bet it and post it. I just haven't yet because I really wanted to hear these guys' opinion, which I now know you're realizing like that doesn't make sense because they disagreed with you and you're not changing. It's more just like I wanted to hear it anyway.
I'll just say it. Why not?
All right, Chris, thanks for joining. Make sure you give these two guys a follow. That's their Twitter names right underneath. Let's talk some Major League Baseball.
Best of luck, Kyle.
Yep. Talk to you soon, man. Just see you in the morning.
Yes, sir.
All right. Toast Beaver. Bam. Good evening, gentlemen. You ready to talk
Good
scene?
evening. Yep.
Yeah. Prop Beaver had a rough go yesterday. It's really hard to run OBS, so give him a break, guys.
It's a complex machine.
Hey, you still got your job, Beaver. We won.
Does it help when your mouse disappears in the middle of the fucking
Yeah, that
stream?
I don't know what happened with that. I think I'm gonna do a reboot on the Windows on your machine. Well, no, what we should have done is we should have set it up on my computer and have you just did it from this machine rather than yours. But whatever.
Yeah.
Braves Pirates in Pittsburgh. There's a man named Kerr pitching for the Braves. I don't have anything on this one. Do you guys want to add anything?
It would be Braves -1.5 or pass for me. I think that after that nice little win against the Padres, they had 3-0, and then they just took 2 out of 3 against Chicago. I think they're starting to heat up a little bit. Pittsburgh, I think, has kind of been a little bit of fool's gold over the last 3 games against that wild series against the Giants. Like, I don't even know what to take from that. I mean, you score 6, 5, and 7 runs in those games, and you lose 2 of those 3, and all those in the 8th and the 9th inning. That was just absolutely insane. Bailey Falter's been really, really good for the Pirates. I will give them that. But at the same time, I don't trust this Pirates offense, even with a guy named Kerr on the mound for them. Bailey Falter has faced the Cubs twice, Oakland once, Milwaukee, the Mets. I mean, it's not been a fantastic or a murderer's row lineup. So I understand that the Braves have struggled, and I am a Braves hater, but there's no way I get to Pittsburgh here today.
What do you think about saying, screw it, I don't care who this guy Kerr is, give me Pirates team total under, instead of trying to rely on a Braves lineup that's been a little streaky?
Well, he's a lefty, and the Pirates are hitting lefties a bit lately.
That's true.
So.
That's true. They have been hitting lefties.
It's also his first career start.
But Andy put 1-0, 2.89 ERA. Is that from his
those are his numbers from his relief appearances.
Out of the bullpen? Okay. So do you have a play in this, Prop Beaver?
I did. Yeah, it was going to be O'Neill Cruz over bases, but they keep changing the pitcher on me. It's so frustrating. So yeah, and this one I'd probably go with Atlanta -1.5 or pass. I think it's Bailey Falter regression day. The dude's having an unreal season thus far, but when I say luck, this is what I mean by it. You either have to have a good K percentage, a good ground ball percentage, or you have to be good at limiting hard contact. Bailey Falter's doing none of those things. He has a 15 K percentage, he has a 33 ground ball rate, and he's got a 44 hard hit rate and a 10% barrel rate. He's just the luckiest man on earth right now. He's flying high, but this Braves lineup has absolutely murked the dude in the past. I mean, a 1.150 OPS through 48 plate appearances. 2 starts against them last year, 11.74 ERA. And while the Braves have been abysmal against righties lately, they are still hitting lefties. One thing I will say is that Austin Riley being out of the lineup does kind of take a bit of the wind out of their sails against lefties. He's always been one of their better producers against lefties. But either way, with the way the Pirates bullpen is going right now, I mean, the Braves could just rack up runs in the later innings anyways and cover this number. So yeah, don't love this one. That's why I lean.
Yeah, Bailey Falter with a .90 whip in his last 4 home starts, 5.02 xFIP.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he's getting there's a very low BABIP there for those of you. Yeah. So my originally thought was Pirates team total under, but honestly after listening to what these guys just said, like Pirates bullpen too, that I could see if I try going with an under 9, getting ruined there. I just took an under in a Braves game in the Cubs game, got ruined in the late innings. So this is a pass for me.
Oh yeah, speaking of the Pirates bullpen, they're taxed to all hell because of extra innings games. If I didn't mention that, I'm sorry.
I don't think you did, but
okay, yeah, they are.
So maybe Braves -1.5 is the move there.
Yeah.
So Matt Manning got scratched in this game, guys. Toronto, Detroit.
Yeah, it's not like he was my biggest bet today. Like,
I was going to say Beaver had like 2 bets on him, and he got him optioned to AAA.
Yeah, I've never even seen such a thing before. They scratched him and demoted him at the same time. I've never seen that before.
So when I was rendering the graphics for the show, the news just dropped, and Andy was still here. Andy just left for the weekend, but he was still here, and he was like, yo, Matt Manning scratched. And I was like, for who? And he was like, I can't find it. So I just wrote undecided because we didn't know.
Yeah, it's
I thought you meant for who, like the team. Sorry, my bad.
No. I meant
okay.
When I do the render for these graphics, that's locked in. I can't change it. So I was like, who do I put? And he was like, I don't know. So we just put undecided. So it's Kenta Maeda making the start?
It is Maeda, yep.
Prop Beaver, did you see and I almost don't want to say it because of all the history, but did you see Toronto's getting to some righty starters recently?
I did see that, but that is mainly at home. I had a fantastic case for Matt Manning to have a hell of a start today. It's a shame, man. It's really a shame that he got set down. So I'm just going to pass. No reason to really waste my breath here. Everything I prepared for is out the window. So,
well, like I said, I was leaning towards Toronto. I just didn't like it was minus 135. I thought Manoah, maybe now that Maeda's pitching, maybe this price is evened out. What is the current price on this game? Let me pull it up.
I don't think it ever.
Let me look.
I don't think it changed too much.
I think Maeda would bring this closer to a pick. No, plus 105, plus 100. So it moved a couple cents. So it looks like plus 105. So it moved 5 cents. So whatever. But I was leaning towards Toronto because I like how they may get into some righty starters, but I wasn't going to lay minus 135. And now that it's Maeda, I kind of like Maeda, especially like back of Maeda home at night, right? Prop Beaver, aren't those his splits? At home
That's
games.
the magic spot.
Yeah, so at home games at night, we're getting that here. So maybe Maeda could pitch well. So I don't want to touch Toronto, even though that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah, and I was going Detroit first 5. I don't know. I think that the Alek Manoah thing about him being so bad might be a little bit overblown. I mean, his last 2 starts, 14 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs against Minnesota and Tampa Bay. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of innings. So I understand that the Washington start didn't go very well either. But and this is a huge if Alek Manoah is starting to figure things out, this is going to be a very, very cheap price on the Jays, I think. Again, I don't really love Maeda in general, especially him coming off an injury, having not pitched in 3 weeks. I understand that his better spot is at home, but I would lean Jays as well. I actually, with Matt Manning on the mound, I had a Tigers first 5 bet ready to go, but yeah, it's going to end up being a pass for me as well.
So gun to your head, you would lean. I'm going to put a Toronto up for me too, because gun to my head, forced to make a bet. That's the way I'd go, but I agree with you. I can't.
One thing I'll say with Manoah is that he looks good, right? But the one road start, you could also argue was his first start. The one road start was quite shaky. And if you know Manoah, going back to when he was good, where was the vulnerable spot for Manoah? On the road against some lefties. Tigers do have 5 lefties in that lineup today. So I feel like that was why the price was a bit lower to me. I thought that Matt Manning was going to have a good game. I feel like the price was really low for a reason. But now you may just be catching value as the books are not adjusting enough. So yeah, I would agree with you guys.
Yeah, it'll be Toronto or pass. Just a pass, though. I only have 3. I have 3 baseball bets open as of right now. I'm hoping to find another one.
I had 8. Now I have 7.
Yeah, well, Andy when he was doing the graphics, he was like, "Prop Beaver bet every freaking game."
I bet every game like every day. He must hate me.
Well, no, because a lot of yours are money lines where he doesn't have to make a graphic.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything for you.
For Prop Beavers, they're all like over 1.5 walks.
No walks today.
Prop Beaver bet every game. That's kind of funny though.
All right, Seattle, Washington, and I looked at this one. This is not one of the ones I have bet. That being said, I might be able to get down with the Washington bet here, Toast. Seattle against lefty.
Yeah, it'd be, I don't know. It'd be Washington or pass for me. Seattle has actually performed decent against lefties, like they're 8-5 overall. I don't know. It's Washington or pass. Here's the thing is that Washington has started to fade, and they're fading kind of fast. They're 2-8 their last 10. Understand, and a couple of those games were against the White Sox. They lost 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. They got swept against the Phillies, and then they just lost 2 out of 3 against Minnesota as well. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not. There's no way I'm laying that price with Seattle with Kirby on the road and how he's looked this year on the road in general. But he had a really good performance against them in his rookie year. That doesn't really do much for me. Yeah, it would be Nats or pass. There's just no way I can lay it with the Yanks or with the Mariners right now.
I also was considering an under here, Toast. Thoughts on that? 8. It's a low total, but I don't think Kirby. I'm not scared of Kirby pitching against the Nats, and then Seattle against a lefty. I don't know. I think maybe the under. Nats are under. That's where I was circling. I didn't actually place a bet, but that's I was flipping back and forth. Maybe a Mariners team total under. You can get like a 4.5, something along those lines.
Yeah, I would be more with. I would get. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much on this one. I think it could go either way, really. Not to mention, is Mackenzie Gore 100% starting?
He's starting now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prop Beaver?
Yeah, I actually kind of lean the opposite way, Kyle. I like the over in this game. I think that both these guys could get hit up. Just in terms of the splits, you got Kirby on the road. He's looked horrible on the road this season. On top of that, he's facing, I think, 5 or 6 lefties. He's also been really bad against lefties. So while the Nats lineup has been a pile of dog shit lately, he's looked really vulnerable in this spot. And then you got Mackenzie Gore, who at home has been significantly more vulnerable thus far, facing a Mariners lineup that's actually been pretty good against left-handed pitching as of late over the last month. But that's not my play in this one. My play in this one is Dylan Moore over 1.5 bases plus 115. It's not Mr. J-Rod. It's not Crawford. It's Dylan Moore, who is quietly the most productive and most consistent bat in this Mariners lineup this season. We've seen him shine in 2 spots against lefties, 185 WRC plus, 342 ISO, 1023 OPS, and on the road, 213 WRC plus, 339 ISO, 1130 OPS. You combine those two, and we have a cheat code, folks. 310 WRC plus, 500 ISO, and a 1509 OPS. I mean, Jesus Louise. He's now going to face Mackenzie Gore, who, as I mentioned, has been great on the road. Phenomenal. But at home, 397 WOBA, 1.5 home run per 9 against righties. I mean, that's a bit concerning. If you want to look at more just against Gore's pitch mix from lefties this season, 625 slug, 333 ISO, 50% hard hit rate. Moore's a guy that with 4+ plate appearances is 20 and 21 to the over going back to 2022. We're getting this at plus money, so I already think that's some good value there. And on top of that, Moore just got moved to second in the lineup today, which is big for him. He's really earned this spot. If he's going to be at second, not only should we get guaranteed 4 plate appearances, we may even get a 5th plate appearance against a Nats pen that's 24th in FIP and 26th in xFIP at home this season. So I really like the spot for Dylan Moore, the road warrior.
Jesus Louise. That's a good bet right there.
Yeah.
Jesus Louise, he said. So our
you guys don't know, Dylan Moore has been absolutely killing it right now. He's got a 150 OPS plus. Keep in mind, league average is 100, 863 OPS, slugging over 500. If you guys don't know who Dylan Moore is, dude can fucking rake.
If him and Big Dumper weren't alive and well, the Mariners would be like a bottom 3 lineup in all of baseball.
Someone said 3:45 p.m. ain't a night game, in my opinion. Well, they're on the East Coast in Washington, so 6:45 p.m. is most definitely a night game.
And also Washington is down to like plus 110, just for the record. There's no more plus 130s out there. So I would actually probably, now that I'm looking at it, if you can get a 3.5 at like in the first 5, because like DK's at 2.5 at 245. What? Never mind.
Wait, you're saying first 5 over 3.5?
Yeah.
That's what you're suggesting?
But yeah, I'll deal with it later.
I don't hate it, Toasty. I don't hate it.
We're on to Royals Rays now, and I kind of sat there looking at this one for a few minutes thinking, how in the hell do you not bet the Royals at minus 115? And the only thing I can think of is the Royals are on the road where they're not nearly as productive. But the Rays have been terrible. The Rays are back to being trash. And you got Seth Lugo on the mound. What am I missing here?
I bet KC. I understand they're not at home, but I've been them in Cleveland. I'm going to continue to bet those 2 teams until they give me a reason not to. Kansas City, 14-6 their last 20, 8-2 their last 10. This team's just absolutely rolling right now. Sauce just said I don't like this Tampa Bay team at all. This is essentially a bullpen day for them. I understand that their bullpen has been better as of late, but they're still not a unit that I trust. Kansas City has all their bullpen arms rested and available, ready to go. And if you guys don't know, Seth Lugo's an all-star right now. If you guys didn't know that, that's how well Seth Lugo is pitching right now. So
should be a Met. Should be a Met.
Probably should be. So, again, this is just too short of a price. If it's a trap and a public side, it is what it is. But I'm going to continue to ride the Royals until they give me a reason not to. Yeah,
and I felt the same way. I'm actually going to write this one down because this was one I like the Royals. The price had me a little bit confused.
I agree with that.
So, I held up, and this was one that I had mentally marked down as like, let's see what they think on the live show, but I'm down to bet this. So, the only thing I could think of is the Royals coming off a homestand where they play much better. Now on the road, maybe like a sell high spot for Kansas City. That's really the only case I can make for a Rays bet. But this Rays team isn't hitting. The numbers in the last 7 days, last 14 days, they're bad again. There was a nice little stretch there, like a week stretch where the Rays were scoring some runs, and we even cashed on them a couple times. No, that's in the past. They're not hitting right now. So it would only be Royals, and I think I'm actually going to end up adding Royals to my ticket right after we get off the broadcast here. Prop Beaver?
Yeah, I mean, hard not to back Seth Lugo here in some way, shape, or form. I had his over 5.5 Ks, tweeted that out last night. That's at 6.5, and 5.5 is a pretty key number, so not going to give that out. You can still get under 5.5 hits allowed, though, minus 140. I know it's a bit juicy, but I still think it's pretty worth it here. I know that Lugo is a bit of a regression candidate if you look at some of the peripherals and stuff, but until he shows me signs of regression, and that comes, I think likely after All-Star break, I'm not going to really worry about it, especially in this spot. He's been awesome thus far. 1.79 ERA, 18 K to BB percentage, 0.98 whip. Now he's going to head on the road to face a Rays lineup that starts 5 lefties daily. And he's been far better on the road. His WOBA decreases by 170 points. His K to BB percentage increases by 16%. His whip is cut in half. His xFIP is cut by 1.3 points. So he's a road warrior, and his best spot is on the road against lefties. Less than a 200 WOBA, a 30 K to BB percentage, and a 217 xFIP. So even the expected numbers there are telling us this is a spot where he should dominate. And he's 1 second, I'm looking for the hits allowed. Yeah, so he's 4-0 to the hits line on the road this season, averaging just 3.5. And the Rays have allowed the last 16 to 20 righties to face them to go under 5.5 hits allowed, averaging 4.2. as well as the last 15 to 19 righties to visit Tampa. So great hit rate for opponents facing the Rays. Great hit rate for Lugo on the road. I feel like this is a nice sell high spot after going over 2 of his last 3, both of those coming at home. Back the road warrior that is Lugo.
Someone's saying they could get Lugo over 6.5 Ks at plus 109, but you're saying 6 is a key number, so you'd rather go
I'm not
hits.
playing. Yep, I'm not touching 6.5. I know there's some people that are laddering up today. I think that's a mistake. I think if you got at 5.5, that's some good value. I think anything past that, you're making a mistake.
And this community poll here, it kind of confirms my suspicion about the price. 81% to 13%. That's how heavy we're all betting. Like, everyone's on the Royals here. Again, I'm probably going to throw a few dollars on it, but I'm a little worried about that. The price seemed like, but I mean, they are on the road where they've been worse, and then they're favored against a Rays team that, if I had to guess, these two teams' record is probably close to, right?
No, not even close.
Let me see.
Royals are 32-19.
32-19. Holy
yeah,
shit!
This team is, yeah, and the Rays are 25-26.
I mean, they're 5.5 games apart. It's not like. All right, Giants, Mets.
Just think of how they were pricing the Orioles for the last 2 years. Just think of that. Sometimes the squares win too. Let's just get in there.
A lot of the times.
No, I said I'm going to bet the Royals. That's why I didn't bet it was the price. Like, see if I was missing anything.
Go Crowns.
Never heard that.
No, I don't. I just made it up. I don't know.
Someone said if Toast could put his picks up on the VIP before the stream moves the line. He does all the time. He does that all the time.
Yeah, today I had 15 write-ups to do. I'm sorry. My son got a freaking rock in his ear. I had to go.
True story. He called me.
A rock in his ear.
I'll show you guys a picture. It was ridiculous. I had to go get it flushed out of his freaking ear. I just.
It's his ass.
And that's a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Guys, I looked at this game. I think the Mets are going to win.
I'm on. Me and Beaver have different opinions on this one. So I played over 7.5. For me, I personally am not in a spot where I trust either starting pitcher. I understand that Beaver's probably going to annihilate me with his write-up with Kyle Harrison, but he's just a 2-pitch guy that I don't really trust that much. And I feel like the Mets, after those couple home runs yesterday, they scored a couple runs on Tuesday. I understand that they lost as well. I think being at home, they should be able to score a couple runs off of Harrison. And then Christian Scott as well. He had one good start against Tampa Bay, but he gave up 3 to Atlanta. He gave up 4 to Miami. I understand being back home, but I understand that San Francisco just had a crazy ass series against Pittsburgh. But in Colorado, they scored 10 runs and 14 runs at home as well. So I don't know. I'm not going to try to make a statement that the Giants lineup is starting to heat up, but I do think that they're capable of putting up some runs. And then as far as the Giants bullpen goes as well, extremely very cooked. No Tyler Rogers, 3 straight days. Camilo Duvall's works 2 of the last 3 days. He had yesterday off, but he's worked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 of the last 5 days and 17, 25, and 20 pitches. So even if he does pitch, he's not going to be at 100%. Taylor Rogers went 22 yesterday. It's just absolutely cooked. So I played over 7.5. I just thought that was a little bit too small of a number.
And it sounds, you said you and Prop Beaver had differing opinions, which leads me to believe you guys have spoken about this game. Based on what you just said, Toast, it seems like my opinion of the game is closer to yours, because I know the Mets don't have great numbers against lefties, but I don't trust Harrison at all making a road start, and I think they could get 1 or 2 across on him, and then the Giants' bullpen is cooked. I could see the Giants getting to Scott, though, and he looked like really impressive to start, and then he looked a little more vulnerable in his last start. So honestly, I might tail you on that. I was trying to get to the Mets in some way. I was circling between laying the juice, Mets team total over, but I might just tail you on that over. It's at 7.5. I'm gonna put that up for me. I'm gonna write it on my list. I think that's a good look. Prop Beaver.
Yeah, I bet Kyle Harrison 2 ways today. I like him quite a bit. I think this is a great bounce back spot for him. So I went over 15.5 outs, under 2.5 earned runs allowed. Sure, the Mets were able to rock Braxton Garrett at Miami last week. That was the 5th lefty they had seen in 8 days. Garrett has awful history against them, and he looked mightily shaky his first 2 starts, with 6 free bases awarded in just 9.2 innings of work. He pegged 3 guys in that game. Let's not forget the previous 8 lefties to face the Mets. 1.52 ERA, 0.2 home run per 9, so 0 power coming from this lineup, and a 0.99 whip. Previous 8 of 10 lefties to face the Mets went under 2.5 earned runs allowed, averaging 1.2. Previous 6 of 8 lefties to face the Mets went over 15.5 outs, averaging 18 outs. And while home field advantage is a thing for some, it sure hasn't been for the Mets bats. On the road, they're 4th in WRC+, 5th in ISO, 5th in OBP. At home, 25th, 30th, and 28th. Now, Harrison is a bit predictable. He's a guy who throws his 4-seamer 65% of the time. But what have the Mets done against 4-seamers from starting left-handed pitching thus far? They're 29th in WOBA, 29th in ISO, and 26th in batter run value. So I think he's going to be very effective here. He's already been a better value on the road, going over his outs line, his last 5 of 7 on the road, and under his ERA line in 5 of 8 road starts. And after going under both lines in back-to-back home starts, a road date against a weak lineup for his lefties could be the perfect spot to back him. On top of that, for our outs prop, it only helps the fact that Harrison should have to go deeper here, because the Giants bullpen is taxed to all hell. They threw 256 pitches the last 3 days and used 5 different guys out of the pen. They could use a break. So I think Harrison can not only deal, and if he doesn't deal, well, I still think they need him to go deep into this one. So I bet him 2 ways.
Yeah, I do agree with what he said about the outs, by the way.
100%. I just want
That's supposed to be at 15.5.
One counterpoint to the Mets versus lefty situation. I can't agree with the numbers, but if you look at those lefties they did face before the Miami series,
very good.
Yes, Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Max Fried, Shota Imanaga, Bailey Falter, who I understand isn't good, but he has fantastic numbers this year. Cole Reagans and Martin Perez, and then Andrew Abbott as well, who continues to pitch well somehow, some way. So yeah, that's all I got.
Definitely some talented lefties the Mets have faced. The only reason I'm trusting Harrison here is because it's not like just this season we're seeing this lineup struggle against lefties. I've seen this lineup struggle against lefties for like 2 or 3 seasons now.
I get it.
Yeah, I hear that. I think the Mets are going to win this game, but minus 140, minus 145. I think the better bet would be, I think I might just tail toast on that over. So I wrote it on my list as a maybe. All right.
Also,
somebody said fade the Giants on the road. I don't really think that makes much sense. The Giants' offense on the road is significantly better against right-handed pitching, pretty much in every metric.
I'm sure they're seeing the Giants are 15-10 at home. They're 10-16 on the road. But
okay, well that makes sense though.
But But you also have 2 of those wins were those last 2 nights against Pittsburgh, which they should have lost those games. So they really should probably be like,
Right.
Okay, so maybe that person has a
they
point.
should
Maybe I'm
probably
just
be
talking
like 8 and
offensively.
18. They should be like 8 and 18 on the road.
So their pitching must stink on the road.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So maybe you're over. Has
So-
some credence.
So
then.
maybe Harrison
Over.
gets lit
Yeah.
the fuck up.
No, it's the bullpen behind him. He goes, he
Yeah.
throws his 16.
Harrison
He
will throw
goes
a jam.
16 outs. He allows 2 runs exactly, and then he leaves the game for a buffet. Also, I think Christian
How
Scott
about
could
he
get hit up
allows
here.
4 runs, but 2 of them come off an error? How about
Oh,
that?
I love that. I love, dude. There's nothing I love more when I bet earned runs than an unearned run. Woo!
Someone said, "Why don't you guys like betting team total overs?" Man, we do all the
Do it
time.
all the time.
We do all the time.
Yeah.
All right. Dodgers, Reds in the next one. I see. Whenever I look at when I'm looking at the spreadsheet for when Paxton's on the mound, all I hear is Prop Beaver's voice in my head.
I know, me too.
And he's like, "When is this dude gonna stop getting lucky?" So I think Toast agrees a little bit. I think we expect the Reds lineup to somehow a little bit in the second. As far as the rest of the season, I think we expect them to be better than they have been. I don't. You good?
I almost just fucking died.
James Paxton does that to him. So I guess my bet in this one would be Dodgers -1.5. The Dodgers aren't hitting right now, and I
know. But yeah, it's definitely Dodgers -1.5 for me. One thing, we're getting them off of 2 straight embarrassing losses. Well, not embarrassing, but 2 straight losses against Arizona. And now this is their first game on a road trip. James Paxton, obviously lucky, but on the road, he's been pretty decent this year. I mean, 6 innings, 2 runs against Minnesota, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 1 run against the Nationals. Arizona got to him that 1 start, and the Dodgers won that game by 1.5, by the way. And then on the road against the Padres, the game that I watched, he went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs or 4 hits. He was awesome in that game. And this Reds team is just absolutely pathetic. I bet them yesterday. They got a lucky 2-run home run in like the 6th or the 7th to tie the game, and they had multiple chances to score, and they just didn't do it. I don't know how they ended up losing that game. Graham Ashcraft, he hasn't been bad. He's just been average, but he's going to give you like 4 or 5 innings and then probably give you up 3 or 4 runs. And if that's the case, then I really expect the Dodgers to really win here, because Alexis Diaz has went 2 of the last 3 days. Fernando Cruz has went 2 of the last 3 days. Sims went yesterday. He only went 10 pitches yesterday, but he still went. Dodgers had the day off yesterday, so obviously they have a full rested bullpen ready to go. And then obviously using your little spreadsheet, Dodgers hit the ball really well against sliders and sinkers, which is 2 of the 3 pitches that Graham Ashcraft really likes to throw. I'll take my chances with the Dodgers coming back, and the Dodgers bats coming back to life in Great America's Small Park. Dodgers -1.5.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way I would go also. But, I mean, if you look at some of these numbers from the Dodgers over the last, I mean, not even the super small sample size. You can use 14 days. We're talking like 21st in WRC+, 22nd at OPS. Dodgers lineup isn't really hitting. So blindly laying -1.5 with the Dodgers when they're not looking like Dodgers is a little scary. But, unfortunately, I agree with Toast. I think it's the only way I could go here. And Paxton's clearly just an absolute ace, top to bottom. What do you like Paxton under earned runs or Paxton over outs in this one, Prop Beaver?
I like Paxton to win the Cy Young, plus 2,900.
Long shot.
Yeah, no, God, he's so ass. It's pretty much a pass for me. It's over 10 or pass, but even there, I wouldn't even actually have you guys bet that. I mean, I don't know. The Dodgers bats stink out loud right now, but Graham Ashcraft has been much worse at home thus far. Seeing them 2nd time in a row. I mean, there's a spot for this Dodgers lineup to wake up a bit. Maybe it's here. I don't know. Probably not. There's no Muncy. I mean, Jesus, what is wrong with that team? And then you all know my feelings about James Paxton. Guy's not good. And while the Reds are not good against lefties, they're certainly a lot more respectable against lefties. Fantastic conditions. That's the way I lean. Don't bet it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, he's taking the over because Paxton's going to get rocked again, huh? All right.
He always finds a way not to. He's a hero.
Yes, because he's pitching well.
Also, Graham Ashcraft pitched like an absolute gem against the Dodgers last year at home. If that happens again, so be it.
All right. So let's go next game. When is next? Oh, Toast, you're on the wrong side of this one, dog.
I didn't bet it. I haven't bet it, but I want to understand what you're seeing. Actually,
Okay,
I'm dead.
so-
I'm not even talking shit.
Yeah. So Red Sox, Brewers. Well, first of all, the big glaring one. So hold on, let me get the poll up. And for those of you that aren't in the Discord that don't know what opposite sides we're on, I bet the Brewers, and I shared that screenshot in the Discord, and Toast went, "Oh no." And I was like, all right, I guess Toast is leading Boston. All right, so I'm on the Brewers here. And just for starters, before we even get into anything, just look at the spot. I mean, you got the Red Sox coming off a huge, much-needed sweep over a Tampa team that has owned them for, a year now. They were like 3-14 in their last 17 games against the Rays. They go on the road in Tampa. That was such a huge sweep for this team. Now they come back home and play a much less important game against an NL team, by the way, an NL team that needs a win badly. This is a team, didn't they just lose 2 of the last 3 to the Marlins? They certainly lost 1-0 to the Marlins the other
They lost
day.
2 of the last 3 to the Marlins. They lost 2 of their last 3 to the Astros as well. The only series they've won the last 4 is the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right. So the Brewers have not been playing good baseball recently. This is a team that needs it bad. Cutter Crawford has excellent looking numbers on the year, but we all know the first month, or like let's say the first 3 or 4 starts, not quite, or a little more impressive than the most recent 3 or 4 starts. Not that he's been bad, but Bryce Wilson's actually been pretty good. And I'm getting plus 114. At first glance, you would think, based on the way these two teams are playing, Boston would be closer to minus 150, minus 155. So it means maybe the odds makers agree with me here that this is a Brewers spot. It just seems the perfect spot for a Boston Red Sox flat spot. Perfect Boston Red Sox flat spot. I like Bryce. And you know what? I saw prop Beavers on a Bryce Wilson prop too. So I think you're not?
I'll elaborate in a few seconds, but yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm on the Brewers here. I like the price, and I like the spot. I think Boston's bats don't show up here.
You can talk about your bet, Beaver, because I don't even know what you're doing either.
I don't have a bet. I don't have a bet anymore.
It just cancels it?
I don't know what happens now, to be completely honest with you. I have no clue. Okay. I bet it. I bet Bryce Wilson under 14.5 outs plus 155 about an hour ago, and now he's the primary pitcher, not the starting pitcher. I saw a kid bet pretty much in the same scenario the other day. I think they bet Ryan Nelson over walks or under walks or something. And they had cashed despite him being moved to the primary pitcher. They still cashed out the ticket. So I don't know what the hell is going to happen here. Like, at all. I have no clue. I don't know if this helps my bet. I don't know if this hurts my bet. I don't know if, like, I have no clue what to expect on this. So no point in me talking about it. I'm beyond frustrated with the pitching changes today. What the hell is going on? Enough of this opening epidemic. Can guys be fucking manly enough to go out there and pitch the first 3 outs of the game, for Christ's sakes? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so people are saying I'm seeing Koenig as a starter. Bryce Wilson's the primary pitcher, meaning Koenig's going to come in and pitch the first inning, and then maybe in the second inning, Bryce Wilson. The Giants do this a lot. We've seen teams do this.
Cowards do it a lot.
Cowards.
The Rays made this famous.
Yeah, so Bryce Wilson is still the pitcher today. He's just not starting the game. So you'll probably see Bryce Wilson in the second inning.
Yeah. I didn't bet this game. I was leaning Boston. I get your sentiment as far as coming off that Tampa Bay series, and now they're coming home with the day off. That kind of cools everything.
They've been bad at home.
Yes, they have been bad at home. They're below 500 at home, 10-13 at home, 16-11 on the road. I just don't know what to expect from this Brewers team, to be honest with you. They're 4-6 their last 10, 10-10 their last 20, 15-15 their last 30. They're barely a 500 baseball club right now. When you're losing series, back-to-back series on the road to Houston and Miami, when you're in a division like they are, when you need wins like as much as possible, I don't know if I can trust you here in this spot. Koenig doesn't have, I understand that as a starter, he hasn't done anything since 2022, and I only spent 5 minutes on this guy, but in 2022 he had 5 starts. He kind of got rocked in 4 of them. He had 1 good start at home against the Royals. So yeah, it would be Boston or pass for me. But like I said, I didn't bet it. I thought the price was kind of weird, to be honest with you. I thought Boston should have been a little bit more heavier favorite with Cutter on the mound, who's been really, really good for them. So I understand that he had a bad home start against the Rays and against the Cubs, but I think the Cubs were pretty hot then, and they've always had trouble with the Rays. But I expect Crawford to pitch well here. But like I said, I didn't end up betting it.
Well, okay, so here's my thoughts on the price. So you're right. If let's just say 10 days, no question, Boston should be closer to minus 155. But I feel like if we back that up to like 30 days, remember the Brewers were hitting for a while.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
I think if we broaden the sample size, then actually Milwaukee at this price would probably be the play. It's just like the recency that makes us think like, oh, how could we bet the Brewers here? So I think with the change of scenery here, Boston coming off the big series in Tampa, we see both these teams regress to where they are, what they really are, which is the Brewers are slightly better than they have been playing, and Boston is slightly worse than they have been playing. Those are my thoughts.
And and here's another thing I was kind of looking at too. If that totals at 9.5, and we think Boston might be slowing down, it might be worth an underlook as well.
Yeah. I think the Boston bats are going to come out flat, so that's why I would go there in that respect as well. All right, so
I think you're crazy. I think Bryce Wilson stinks.
Okay. Well, you also think James Paxton stinks, and he's like an all-star.
He does. Because I know ball.
Seam.
You're an ERA merchant. Keep rocking with the ERAs.
What? How about I rock with wins?
You're an ERA merchant.
A
win merchant? You want to be a win merchant? Oh my lord, that's an even worse case.
No, I'm not talking about pitcher wins. I'm saying when he pitches, they win. So I win my bets.
Wins. He has a 7 ERA, but he's 7-0 this year. I'll go by the wins.
I'm talking
That's
about
Christian Javier last year.
I'm talking about winning
exactly.
bets. I said if you've been betting the Dodgers when Paxton is pitching, you're winning.
You're a Bryce Elder
Isn't
stan,
that the point? Isn't that what we're doing?
I can smell it on you.
Isn't that the point of what we're doing?
You're an Elder stan. Get off.
Oh, Bryce Elder.
So I have 2 bets on this game, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I got a bet on this game too.
So my 2 bets are. Let me scroll to. So next game.
2 bets, huh?
It's like the same thing. I just played. So I have the under. I actually got a 9. I got the 9 at minus 120. So I have the under at 9, and I have the first 5 under 4.5. So I it's 2 bets, but it's the under 2 ways. Both these pitchers have been good, and it might shock you to hear that Arena has been good, but he has been. He's been pitching really well. Minnesota can't hit for shit. I mean, to be honest, this one doesn't. I feel like it doesn't need much of an explanation. Both these starting pitchers are pitching really well. Neither of these lineups are hitting. And if you're wondering, oh, okay, well then that makes the price look kind of sketchy. The price is sketchy based on Arena and like what people think of when they see his name. If you actually look at what, yeah, but I mean. They're not hitting, so how's this going to go over the total?
No, I get that, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess people are seeing like the Twins against Arena should put up a bunch of runs. Twins aren't hitting, and Arena's been dealing. So I like the first 5 under, like the full game under, bet them both. Like I said, on DraftKings, I got a 9 at minus 120. Not sure if it's still available. I got that probably like 2 hours ago.
I hate this. Rangers money line plus 140. It's just a pure play on the number for me. Both teams are terrible. But I do think the Rangers are due for a little bit of positive aggression. I understand that they didn't look great against Philadelphia, but not very many teams do. And I'm just not at a point where I'm laying a huge price with this Minnesota team coming back off of a road trip where they didn't really look that good in the first place. Bailey Ober, a guy who got lit up by this Texas team last year at home. This year at home, went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs to the Mariners, but are we really impressed by that? Same thing with Detroit. He pitched well against Detroit. Again, I understand that the Rangers aren't hitting, but they present a whole bunch more problems than those other teams faced against Ober as well. And Sauce said it too. I've been saying this since his first start against Oakland. If Jose Urania's found something, there's talent there, guys. There's a reason that he continues to get jobs to 22, 23, 24, because there's a lot of talent there. And if he's figured it out, we might be getting a huge discount or a really good price on this Rangers team, where his last 3 starts, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run against LA, on the road in Colorado, 6 innings, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs. And then on the road in Oakland, keep in mind, Oakland at that time was on a win streak. They had been winning a lot of games.
They're hitting more than Texas is.
Yeah. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. So I have no reason to think that Urania is not going to pitch well here today. And I'm getting a huge plus price. I have Kirby Yates and Robertson in that bullpen, rested and ready to go as well. I think this is a really nice spot to take Texas here.
Prop Beaver?
Yeah, wow. I didn't really get to look at this game, to be honest, because every time I make a pick, my pitcher changes and I have to try and adapt. But I think you have some pretty good points here. One thing I will say is that the Texas lineup has produced at a much higher rate on the road. And I'm not the biggest Bailey Ober guy, to be completely honest with you either. So I'd probably lean more towards Toast Bet than your bet, Kyle. But if one thing I am looking at for myself here, Jose Urania under 2.5 earned runs. I mean, I'm getting it at plus money. The Twins bats are just so ass right now. I mean, plus money, why not? I mean, 1 second, I'm trying to pull it up. Let's just look at some of the miscellaneous characters who are just cashing their numbers against the Twins. Not miscellaneous characters, but characters who are cashing right now. Jake Irvin 2, Bybee 1, McKenzie 1, Schmidt 0, Stroman 0, Manoah 0. I mean, we're talking about 4 combined runs allowed by the 6 starting righties they've seen last. That's disgusting.
Crazy.
I don't know if it now
honestly, really quickly, Beaver, their numbers versus righties over like 14 and 30 days look even better, because remember, they had that huge game against the Mariners where they scored like 11 runs and 11 hits and whatever. And
their explosion against the Angels too.
Yeah.
With
so they're actually
innings,
kind of like inflated numbers, to be honest.
And they're still ass.
Yeah. Still wretchedly ass. So, and the one thing I also do like is that Urania thus far has awesome splits against lefties. He's been dominant against lefties. I think he's like a 66 ground ball rate. Twins are a very lefty heavy lineup these days. So yeah, that would be the way I lean here. So basically I would want to back Texas either to hold the Twins under runs or on the money line. That would be the way I lean here. Don't want to back the Twins in any way. Screw that team.
Honestly, you guys made some points that kind of make me lean towards Texas as well. I'm already in on the under, and I like my bet. But I after listening to what you guys had to say, I kind of would lean towards Texas also. But I'm rocking with the under. All right, next up, Baltimore.
I wonder if this game gets played.
This is the one that I think there's a couple games that are in jeopardy.
I saw something that it got an upgrade. So so Mr. Kevin Roth here. I'm lowering the risk here a bit as latest models are slower on the rain. We'll have an update before they lock, but maybe they manage to squeeze in some or all of the game before storms arrive. So may see a mid-game delay. That's a potential.
As much as I will not lay this kind of number with Baltimore, who hasn't really been hitting like that, but I'm not trying to take the White Sox against Corbin Burns, so it's a straight pass.
Okay, so I didn't place this bet yet because I was worried about the weather and I had to deal with my kid's freaking rock in his ear. But White Sox team total over 2.5 at -115. If I can get that and they're going to play, I'm probably going to take that. First and foremost, Corbin Burns faced this White Sox team last year on the road, got absolutely destroyed. And if you take a look at his last couple road starts, on the road at Washington, on the road at Kansas City, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs. He just hasn't been the dominant guy that he has been. And he's coming off back-to-back starts where he looked fantastic. I truly think, and not to mention you have White Sox team that is quietly scoring runs at certain times. I give you the Yankees series. They didn't do much, but 6 runs last night, and they definitely could have won that game. I don't think they would have ended up winning it regardless of what that call was on the bases. But I think that they come out with a little bit of fire here tonight, and they're probably pissed off. And you're getting to face Corbin Burns. I just feel like 2.5 is way too small of a number. So White Sox team total over 2.5 for me.
White Sox team total over 2.5. What do you think, Prop Beaver?
I don't necessarily hate that. The last 2 games he had played, 3 runs to the Nats, and then the Royals wound up scoring 7 runs in that game. Also, they used Cano last night. Kimbrel only went for 3 pitches, but he had to warm up. So, Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm just gonna pass here. I mean, God, I was so emotionally invested in the Sox winning that first 5 yesterday. We were drawing walks on Grayson Rodriguez left and right, and then Clevenger. I mean, Shit Pants McGee was just a disaster out there. So, this is a pure pass for me.
Shit Pants McGee.
Dude, that sucked. Especially for the White Sox to get the bases loaded and then to work that walk to go up 1-0. Like that was
and then
like
do nothing. Yeah.
like,
Corey Lee yesterday. Oh, it was like I was Homer and he was Bart Simpson. God, you stink.
Guys, tell me what do you guys think of my Cards money line bet on this one?
This is another one that's in danger of being rained out.
I'm on
This is the one. This is the one. When Toast said that last game, this is the one that some people in the Discord were talking about getting rained out. So
Yeah,
I bet this game though. I have the Cardinals.
I could read the weather report. Do you want to go? My bad.
Well, I mean, it's very simple. I only need to talk for about 1 minute.
No, you should. Go ahead, Beaver. Or go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so I bet the Cardinals. I got it at plus 135. And look, by no means am I going to sit here and be like, Michaelis. This isn't a bet on Michaelis. This isn't a fade of Imanaga. This is very simply a fade of the Cubs bats at this price. You cannot lay minus 155 juice on the road with a team that's one of the coldest lineups in baseball. They're not hitting anybody. Michaelis actually hasn't even looked that bad. I think he can pitch really well. Hopefully JD's in the comments to come in and bail me out here. But look, even if Imanaga throws 6 innings, 1 or 2 runs, throws a great game, still think the Cardinals win. And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, Cardinals not nearly as cold against lefties as they were a month ago. Remember, we were making jokes like this Cardinals team can't hit lefties for shit anymore. I'm not saying that they're red hot against lefties, but they're seeing lefties better. So I think all we need is 1 or 2 runs off Imanaga, and they should win. So I like my position here. I got it at plus 135, but like these guys said, it's in danger of getting rained out. So.
Damn, actually, wow. All right, so yeah, let me read the weather excerpt here from the guy from Roto Grinders. Delay is extremely likely, and I think a postponement is very much on the table. So that kind of sucks because you were actually kind of you were drawing me in there with the whole
no,
part,
you don't
part
do
about
Cardinals. You don't do Cardinals.
No,
what part though? What part?
You were drawing me in on backing Michaelis in some way because the Cubs offense does not deserve to be priced like that.
Not
Just
even
because
that
of how
bad.
pissed they are.
My god!
I don't know. I think the Cubs offense is pretty pissed.
No,
and
I'm
on top
talking
of
about
that,
Michaelis.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
yes,
Michaelis has
there
been
we go.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Michaelis,
I thought he was back in the Cubs bats.
Michaelis has some pretty shaky history against most of the division. When you go ahead and you look at some of the splits and stuff, you look at him through 9 career home starts against the Cubs, 1.60 ERA. He's allowed 1 or less earned runs in 7 of those starts, 2 or less earned runs in 8 of those starts. So Michaelis always shows up against the Cubbies at home in Busch Stadium. Damn, this fucking rain. I almost hope this gets pushed to tomorrow. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. I have a plus 135 ticket bought and paid for, so we'll see.
Yeah, I can't really add much more except for the fact that this Cardinals team is on absolute fire right now, and I don't know why nobody's talking about it. 8-2 their last 10. They're one of those teams just like Kansas City and Cleveland. I'm going to continue to bet. I understand that Miles Michaelis doesn't command like some crazy good names, but he just pitched 5 innings, 2 hit run, 1 run ball against Boston. He gave up 3 runs against Milwaukee. The Mets got him for 6. It is what it is, but he has really good history against the Cubs, and he's a veteran pitcher. And to be honest, those Cubs numbers, he gets lit up every once in a while on the road in Wrigley, but who doesn't? I mean, especially when you're going there multiple times through your career, it's just bound to happen, especially with the wind and stuff. So I don't even think that I understand that Shota Imanaga has been like Cy Young type of level this year, but I also don't know if that absolutely lasts. I don't think we can expect him to give up no runs every time he comes out. Again, that's not me trying to make a case that the Cardinals are going to light him up. But if you're going to give me a coin flip here with the Cardinals, who have a rested bullpen as well, that their major guys haven't been used in the last couple of days, I'll take my chances with the home team. Like I said, it's 8-2 their last 10 and is playing their best baseball of the season right now.
Yeah, and of course, Imanaga versus Michaelis, the Cubs have the starting pitching advantage. Mm-hmm. None of us would say otherwise, but the gap in recent production between the Cardinals bats and the Cubs bats is, we're talking about a top 5 hottest lineup in the league against arguably a bottom 3 coldest lineup in the league. So it's almost like I don't even care who's pitching. I'll take a plus 130 at home with one of the hottest lineups in the league any day, regardless of who's on the mound. So that's how I felt about this one. And look at the poll. 60%, 27%. Everyone's betting the Cubs here because of Imanaga. So if you're thinking the price is weird, no, that's the market, man. People are betting the Cubs. People are backing this guy Imanaga, probably for good reason. He looks awesome. But every other aspect of the game, I mean, the bats, it's such a gap. Cardinals have been hitting the ball so much better.
Here's one thing I want to mention. I can't tell if this is because of the rain or because this is the books taking a pretty big stance here. Imanaga's K line is at 5.5 plus money to the over. He's smashed the line in 5 straight games. 7, 7, 8, 8, 7.
Ooh.
Juiced under.
And that's that prop Beaver line read is brought to you by Pepsi Cola.
Get your fresh story at your local vending machine.
Phillies minus 210.
I read an article about how they lost this year a misname to some
crazy
porno girl or something.
To some ethot, yes.
I'm gonna get
times.
I'm gonna get an email from Pepsi like we did not authorize the sponsoring of Prop Beaver's line read.
Also, if you get an email from Pepsi and Mountain Dew isn't on the line, then just hang up the phone. Seriously.
if there's enough zeros on the check, I don't care if it's Pepsi or Mountain Dew, bro. All right, Phillies, Rockies at Coors Field. Phillies coming off a win. I should know. I was in attendance. Pretty blasted.
How was it though? Like honestly though, was it cool to be at the Bay?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We went to the Xfinity Live, the bar. It's like the bar that's right us, and it was a lot of fun, man. It was my friends from high school who I don't see as often as I should, probably, because they all live right around here, but I just don't. So it was good to see them. Had a fun day. And I'm sorry to the Discord for that voice message. Didn't really think it through. In case people who aren't in the Discord, what happened was I was sitting in the stands. I was fired up, man. I was pretty. I had a lot to drink. I'll say that. And people in the Discord, I opened it up, and people were like, "Rangers are cooked," because the Phillies went up 4-1, I think it was. And I did a voicemail. I was like, "Guys, Rangers are winning this fucking game." And I think people went and thought "Oh, Sauce is making a guarantee," but really I was just talking some shit. So sorry about that. If you went and bet that, thinking I had a bunch of drinks. I was just talking shit. All right. So anyway, Phillies are in Coors Field to start a series against the Rockies.
My niece is not going to have a graduation gift because of you.
So Prop Beaver, Christopher Sanchez, showing signs of vulnerability.
I'm just going to say this now. I can't get to where I want to get to. Why? Because the Rockies are coming off a 9-game road trip. I hate that. I do not like that. Otherwise, I'd be playing the over here because this is Sanchez's first trip to Coors. Tough spot for any pitcher. He already saw them earlier this season, and he dominated. He's looked much more vulnerable on the road. 5.5 ERA, a negative 1.1 K to BB percentage is a miserable 1.94 whip and a 4.96 xFIP. So that's pretty pissed. I feel like he'd be due to allow some runs here. On the other side, we got Ty Block, and he's bad. Last 3 seasons as a starter, 5.69 ERA, 1.6 home run per 9, doesn't have K stuff, can't limit hard contact, can induce a ground ball. And while the Phillies have not been as potent versus lefties as versus righties, since May 10th, they're 8th in WRC+, 10th in ISO, and 6th in OBP versus lefties. Last 8 to face them, 5.45 ERA. Rockies bullpen also taxed the all hell with 6 to 7 possible relievers throwing 15-plus pitchers yesterday, including Beeks and Vodnik going back-to-back days. Another thing that's really throwing me off is coming back from that long of a road trip and adjusting to the altitude for the Rockies. I feel like that may kind of hinder some of their runs. And the Phillies team total is just so inflated. So it'd be the over 11 or pass, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
And last night at yesterday's game, I think the final score was 5-2, but it should have been 10-2, man. The Phillies left so many guys on base, and they were just making so much solid contact. And there was a point where the Rangers had the bases loaded, and the winning run was at the plate. They were down 3 with the bases loaded, and we were sitting there thinking, the Rangers should be winning with one swing. But as we said that, we're like, they should be down 8 or 9 right now. They were lucky to even be within. The Phillies are seeing the ball well right now. So, I mean, my thoughts on this game are the Phillies should score double-digit runs. But obviously, as Prop Beaver said, if you want to bet the Phillies team total over, what do you got to bet? 7? It's huge. So
it's something ridiculous, yeah.
I probably would go over or past 2, especially because I don't really have a ton of faith in Christopher Sanchez. But I like what you said about the Rockies coming off the road trip. So this is a straight pass for me. wants to take Rockies. I can already see it in his face. I can see it in his face.
Dude, I really, really, really do. Why? Well, Rockies have already seen Christopher Sanchez once this year. I understand that he looks fantastic. That was at home. This is going to be his first start on the road, first start in Coors Field. His previous 3 starts on the road this year, 3 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs against the Reds. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs against the Angels. 5 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs against the Mets. So at no point this season has Christopher Sanchez been a road warrior, as Beaver likes to call them. Ty Block has been absolutely terrible. The Rockies bullpen is absolutely taxed, but you also have Philly coming off a series against the Rangers, and a series against a 2 division series against the Mets and the Nats, and now they're flying across the country. And they used with the Rockies bullpen is taxed as well, but the Phillies bullpen, I'm pretty sure they're not going to have Alvarado, Huffman. All the top 3 arms have worked 2 of the last 3 days for them. Strom did have the day off yesterday, but yeah, I'm not going to bet it because the Rockies bullpen is, like Beaver said, is just absolutely taxed to all hell. Some of the worst I've seen in a while, but yeah, there's no way I bet the Phillies here. No way.
Someone goes, bro, the Rockies are total shit bags.
They've been pretty good lately. Profitable organization as of late.
You know what this game reminds me of? This game reminds me of when FTB was on and I was talking about the Phillies bullpen. If they were going to blow it, they were going to blow it against the Angels. This kind of feels like that. It feels like the Phillies are going to be in a whole bunch of parlays today, and somehow, some way, the Rockies bullpen is going to figure it out, and the Phillies are going to lose.
And I mean, I don't even hate what you said about the spot for Philly flying across the country without a day off, playing in Coors Field. I get all that, but Block's been terrible, and it's not even a good spot for the Rockies either. So,
well, Toast, you're the Coors expert. Wouldn't this be a bad spot for the Rockies coming home from a
that's
super
what I'm saying.
long road
It's
trip?
also a bad spot for the Rockies.
The Rockies have had this situation 3 times this year. One time they scored 10 runs. The other 2 they didn't score a run. So we'll see where we're at.
Oh, 10 or 0.
They didn't score.
So it's
Coors? Okay.
So 10 or 0.
Yes, they came back from a road trip from Arizona and Chicago. They scored 10 runs against the Rays. They had an East Coast road trip against the Blue Jays and Phillies. They came back home. They got blanked by Castillo, 0-7, and then they had another road trip against Miami, Pittsburgh. They came back home to face Kyle Harrison, and they got blanked in that one as well.
All right, so Guardians, Angels.
Yeah.
So we got Guardians, Angels. Logan, Allen, Sandoval. I actually didn't look at this one, so this is the spot where I cut off. So the last 3 games I haven't gotten a chance to look at. When we made these graphics, it looks like this one was a pick 'em. Angels against lefties, we like that, right? I'm assuming we're leaning towards the Angels here. Or no, Toastman betting Cleveland.
I'm betting Cleveland, but I 100% understand why you guys would bet LA. Sandoval, I think, should be able to pitch better. Angels crush lefties, yada yada yada. I get all that. This Cleveland team has been treating me way too well. There's no way. 13-7 their last 20, 9-1 their last 10. I understand their last 6 games were at home, but and I also don't think that Logan Allen's not going to give up any runs. I mean, his last 2 starts, he hasn't given up a run. And he hasn't been particularly well on the road either. On the road at Houston, he went 5 2/3, gave up 3 runs on 7 hits. And then on the road at Atlanta, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs. Cleveland figures out ways to win games, guys. And they've been treating me so well. So the numbers might want to say the Angels and Cleveland might be a little bit public, but honestly, I don't really care. If they keep on paying me out, I'm just going to keep on riding that team.
Is the total not at 7.5? I'm sorry if I messed that up.
Yeah, wow. What a interestingly low total.
Oh no, it is 7.5. I did it right.
Yeah,
I thought I messed it up.
What a really low total though, right? Like, am I tripping? It feels like an 8.5.
No, that should be 8.
Hold on.
I thought it would be 8.5. When he said that was wrong, I looked because I assumed it was wrong.
So did I, and it's actually 7.5 juiced under. It's actually leaning to the under.
Wait, why? Why? Hold on. We got to be missing. Is there wind blowing in?
No,
I'm checking that right now.
Anaheim. It's Anaheim. You don't have to worry about that.
It's a -4% run boost, which is nothing. And on top of that, the wind's actually blowing out at 10 miles per hour. So, they expect one of these pitchers to deal, obviously. I mean, as much as Toast trusts his Guardians against, I guess, just anybody right now, they're balling out for him. Dude, the Angels against lefties are my wagon of hell. I love them. They just keep treating me they're just the best. So for me, it's Angels first 5 money line. They're the best. They're the best. They just keep rocking these quality lefties. I don't know what to say about it. And I don't even think Logan Allen's a quality lefty. So if we get a bad lefty in the building, I think they can really do damage. Reason I'm isolating that to the first 5, and we don't have a graphic for this. This is kind of all off the dome. Reason I would want to isolate this to the first 5 is because the Angels bullpen has been exceptionally good on the road. They've also been exceptionally pissed at home. They cannot do anything at home. I don't know what is wrong with that team in the late innings. I actually think this is where Toast wins his bet. I may actually even look into a double result. Angels first 5, Cleveland Guardians full game. No joke. Just see what that price is, because I think that could realistically happen here. But through the first 5, we got an Angels lineup that's absolutely murdering lefties right now. Logan Allen was significantly better on the road to begin the season, but now we're starting to see some cracks. As Toast mentioned, he had the 3 runs at Houston. He had the 4 runs at Atlanta. This could be one of his toughest challenges yet in terms of what the Angels are doing against lefties, and the Guardians against lefties are starting to slow down dramatically. I mean, I had every reason in the world for that team to absolutely murder Jose Quintana the other day at home. It took them until the 6th inning to get some runs up on him. Are we serious?
They didn't get to Crochet before that either.
They didn't get to Crochet. The only lefty they've really gotten to lately is Reed Detmers, who at this point, I mean, my grandma could get to Reed Detmers. It's getting bad out there.
She's got excellent bat speed, though, your grandma.
He's my grandma, great swing length, even better bat speed. So yeah, I think that in this one I'm leaning Angels first 5 on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I would go anywhere other than Angels. But I mean, like Toast said, Cleveland's 9-1 in their last 10. It's kind of hard to
9-1 their last 10, 13-7 their last 20, and they're 8-2 on the year versus left-handed pitching.
It'll be Angels or pass.
The Angels are 7-2, just so everybody knows.
Angels.
I was gonna say, respect my Angels. Respect my Angels.
Angels have been productive as hell against left-handed pitching, and I don't even like Logan Allen, so it would only be Angels for me. In fact, I might bet the Angels. Let me add that to my maybe list.
See, one would think, both offenses can produce against a lefty. Maybe let's take an over. What the hell is that total? I don't know.
No way.
Somebody's dealing here. Here.
Honestly, I might just take the over.
At 7.5, I don't know.
Dude, but you know what? How many times this year have we been like, man, that doesn't
You're
make
right.
sense.
You're right, dude.
Right.
Some of these totals they put out there, and I'm sitting there, and
I've won a lot of bets.
Game.
I'm telling you, this baseball season specifically, I've won a lot of bets saying I don't care if it's weird. I'm playing
just
what
turning
I think.
off the brain.
And I've had some success with it. And Toast, I feel like you've gotten into trouble sometimes where you've let yourself get scared off a line because you didn't like it. That when your numbers and your so I've been going with a little, not blindly. I'm not, but like there's times where like if I think something's gonna happen, I don't care if the line's weird, and if I'm having success with that. I mean, obviously, I will take the put some time in to try to figure out why it's weird first, and not like, oh, I don't care. with a little bit of work in there, but we got Yankees Padres at close to a pick 'em. Verdon making a road start against the Padres. Prop Beaver, we did a video about a Padres home game against a lefty last week. I don't know if you remember. And at the time, weren't the Padres one of the worst home lineups in baseball and one of the worst lineups in baseball at lefties? It's like a week ago. But wasn't that a thing? Yeah,
I think it very mumuch still applies. I mean, holy Lord.
How do you not bet the Yankees at this price?
Because Yu Darvish is goated. No, I don't know.
Do it.
I think.
Toast is on the freaking
the signature do it. The signature do it.
Go ahead.
I really don't feel firmly either way about this one, so I'm not even gonna try and make a point here. Not gonna waste anybody's time. Let's hear what Mr. Dewitt's got.
And you know what? Before he goes, I want to have flying the Yankee flag below me while he's talking. All right, I'm on the Yankees. Go ahead, Toast.
So I posted about this game in the Discord, probably like 5 posts. This line, everybody keeps on betting the Yankees, and this line just keeps on moving down, keeps on moving down, keeps on moving down, keeps on moving down. So I'm going to take the fucking Padres. I understand that
Okay.
they looked like trash against the Rockies those 3 games, but prior to that, they've been fantastic. They just won a series against Atlanta. They just won a series against Cincinnati as well. And oh, by the way, like, again, I don't expect Yu Darvish not to give up runs, but his last 4 starts, he hasn't given up a goddamn run. And that's against the Reds, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Braves. So it's not like they're just trash competition either. So he got lit up on the road by the Yankees last year. But I mean, again, if he gives up 7 runs at home, it is what it is. But Carlos Rendon, has he been really good for the Yankees? Yeah, but he's also faced the White Sox, the Twins, the Astros. The good team that he faced, Baltimore, got throttled. I mean, Milwaukee's decent. He pitched well there. Oakland, he pitched well at. Didn't pitch well against Toronto. So in 2 of those starts were on the road, the Baltimore and Toronto starts. So not trying to make a case that the Padres are going to kill Rendon, but I'm not necessarily thinking that he's going to absolutely dominate here. I would lean the under as well. But I think that the Padres win this game. This is kind of line reading just for me, but it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, even look at the Padres bullpen. I mean, Suarez probably isn't going to be available. He's went 3 of the last 4 nights. Jeremy Estrada, no one's hitting this kid. He went 30 pitches last night. So is he going to be available? I don't know, but it's not like the books don't know that either. And yet the line still is what it is. So yeah, I bet the Padres.
In Toast's defense, it seems like odds makers are pretty comfortable playing against a lot of Yankees action. And something to say about the last game, that sketchy 7.5 total that we were talking about. I think that's a little different because you take a step back and look, I don't think either Cleveland or the Angels are branded as dominant lineups. So I don't think people are looking at those 2 teams and necessarily thinking runs. So I don't think it's maybe not as weird as we think. But anyway, in this one, no question at this price, everyone's going to be coming in on the Yankees. But I think I actually like my other bets better. So it'd be damn it, Toast. I want to do it now. Let's see, but I don't really like.
I physically can't back the Padres against the lefty. They are so abysmal against them.
You're right. Let's do it. Yankees. I'm doing Yankees. I'm going to take Angels off. I'm going to pass on
the
Angels.
Yankees will probably.
I took Angels off and I added Yankees. All right.
I would lean under there because I think if you're going sharp, I think that's the move. Because that's the book's angle, I feel like, that both pitchers pitch well.
Either put a graphic up and make a pick or don't.
Shut your pretty mouth.
Toast goes. Whoa.
I didn't know the pretty part threw me.
Houston at Oakland. Minus 172. Athletics plus 145. Verlander. All right. Raw Stripling. I haven't looked at any of these last games. So we got this one and one more, and I haven't looked at them yet. You guys like Verlander? Hasn't Oakland's bats completely calmed down? They're not really hitting.
Pretty much, yeah. Besides whatever happened yesterday, they had 10 runs yesterday. Don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure that was a video game that we all just watched. Like, I don't know if any of you guys saw that game yesterday, but they ended up winning 9-10. They were down 4 runs in the 11th inning. They scored 5 runs in the 11th inning themselves to win that ball game. Excuse me.
Wait, which game was that? Why don't I remember that game?
Oakland. It was just because you were drunk at the game. At the Phillies game. But yeah, I think this is a spot where this is going to be super square. Astros minus 1.5 for me. Justin Verlander, I think he bounces back here. Doesn't have great history against Oakland. I take that back. His last 3 starts, 22 and 23, he got lit up 1 time. He blanked him the other 2 times. But I think he bounces back here. We saw this earlier this year. He got waxed by by the Yankees on the road, then went on the road to Detroit and pitched 7 innings, didn't give up anything. And then back at home, Milwaukee got to him. But I think pretty sure one of them was just the home run, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken. But regardless, I think that he pitches well here against an Oakland team that's really slowing down lately. Not to mention that Ross Stripling is pretty damn bad. Oh, by the way, the Oakland bullpen, Mason Miller 2 of the last 3 days, and I don't think Mason Miller is available today after what happened yesterday. Eckridge 2 of the last 3 days. Michael Kelly's went back-to-back days. Austin Adams 2 of the last 3 days, so they're not in good shape either. Houston has everybody rested and ready to go in their bullpen as well. So is it square? Yeah, but I think that Verlander shoves and the Astros win this one pretty easily.
Yeah, that sounded good to me. Honestly, I'll put the same graphic up. That's the way I go. Well, let's see what prop Beaver thinks if I want to.
They're tangling.
What the fuck does that mean? Oh,
My sharp
senses
senses are tingling.
You're not taking
My
over.
sharps. No, I'm not. But I have a feeling. I know a lot of people I respect today are on Verlander under 2.5 earned runs minus 120. The line hasn't moved. That's a bit weird to me. Considering 10 straight righties have gone under this total against Oakland. And one thing I want to point out, and I noticed this going back to last year, this man Verlander, with his old age, I don't know what it is. It's the routine or something. This dude is not a night crawler. He cannot pitch during the night. If you look at the splits this season, 5.96 ERA in his 4 night starts, 3.56 WOBA, 5.66 xFIP. He only has a 3.2 K to BB percentage, which is horrendous. And then on top of that, filter that to the road. The 2 road night starts, 7.36 ERA, 3.82 WOBA. I don't see. My thing is, I trust Verlander during the day. That's something the past 2 years. Usually I trust him against the division, and I trust him during the day. Now it's like kind of a split thing where he is against the division, but he's on the road. It's at night. He's going to face some lefties, which he tends to struggle a bit more against. I'm just not really in love with this one, so I'm going to pass. I could actually see some runs here, so I'll just lean over.
You're thinking this Hall of Fame, multiple-time Cy Young winner is scary.
45-year-old
So
pitcher.
wait, it's past his bedtime?
It is past his bedtime.
Those night splits, did you say were this season or how many years going back? Sorry.
The night splits were this season thus far, and then if you go back to last season,
4 starts, he said.
the night on the road tends to be his worst spot if you look at him going back a couple years now.
I call bullshit on that.
He's an old man!
Astros minus 1.5.
Dick Van Dyke shows on in 3 hours. You think he has time to fucking pitch?
Last game up. Miami's in the desert. Fish don't do well in the desert. But
They do not.
you know what I'm done with, though? I'm done looking at numbers that tell me Arizona can hit lefties because I don't care what those numbers say. They can't. It's been several times where I'm like, Arizona gets a lefty, and then they lose 6-1. I'm done trusting the Snakes lineup against a lefty, man.
Yeah. I played. I actually did this while we were on the show. I played Atlanta and Arizona in a money line at plus 142 in a parlay for a small bet. Again, we already talked about Atlanta. Zach Gallen. I think this is a really good bounce back spot for him after 2 subpar performances. On the road to Detroit, went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits and 3 runs, did strike out 10, didn't walk anybody. But previous to that, the road start against Baltimore, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, walked 2 guys, only struck out 4. His previous home start, but prior to that, was against St. Louis, where he went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs. So we all know that Zach Gallen at home is a different monster. I'm not the biggest Zach Gallen guy at all, but he's got excellent history against this Miami team, and he's at home. And I also don't really worry about the Snakes coming home from a road trip because it was 3 games in LA when they actually dominated that series. So I think that they continue to ride that momentum. I understand they didn't look good those first 2 games against Detroit, but I think they're playing better now. And I'm going to continue to fade Miami as much as possible. I haven't been fading them lately because they were playing like the Mets and Milwaukee, and give Miami credit. They're 7-3 their last 10. So, but I actually think that we're getting a little bit of a discount here. So yeah.
I want to take the fish. Prop Beaver.
I'm on a Gallen masterclass today. Give me Zach Gallen over 18.5 outs plus 155. I feel like we're catching some extremely nice value here with Gallen at home. He's facing a Marlins team that averages the fewest pitches per plate appearances, 3.7. And before his last outing, Gallen was 0-8 to the over this season. But we saw him get hurt against Seattle. We started to see his pitch count build up start by start. And last game, it reached a peak. He had 98 pitches through 6.2 innings against Detroit, and he had not allowed a run through 6 innings of that ball game. So that's good right there. With 97 plus pitches, which I think should be around his floor here, considering he was building up towards that. Gallen is 20-14 overall, averaging 19, and over his last 8-12 at home, averaging 19 since 2022. On top of that, this is Gallen's old team. They traded him. he holds a grudge against them. I heard in an interview too that he holds a grudge against them. He's cashed all 3 of his previous outings against them, averaging 20 outs, and 2 of those came at Miami, where he's far more susceptible to being less efficient. Gallon's earned run line, it's at 2.5, juiced heavily to the under. The last 5 of 7 healthy righties to face the fish and allow 2 or less earned runs have hit 19 plus outs. The 2 unders both landed on 18 and still cashed their individual outs line. So if you allow 2 or less runs to Miami, 7 straight righties have now cashed their outs line. And I think last start was perfect. He pitched well enough through 3 to give us the confidence that he could carry that momentum and go into this one, go 7 innings. But he also recorded a loss, so he should be fueled up to get that revenge here against his old squad. I think we're going to see some 2023 Zach Gallen here. So, yeah, that's my bet in this one.
You could go, if you don't want to do a parlay, because you never know with the Braves, Zach Gallen to record a win at plus 100 is probably a decent look as well. If you assume that Beaver's right in his over outs, that means he'd probably record the win if they do get the win. So,
unless Arizona doesn't score any runs.
They really have been stinking it up lately against lefties. The last 2 they saw. But I think they should get something on the board this time.
I want to do this.
It's a good thing. I get it. I wouldn't hate it. My thing is that they got to Braxton Garrett last year. He's looked like trash his last 3. I mean, it would be different if they gave me a little something. And I also think that Arizona's starting to heat up. I understand their numbers have been terrible, but I think that series against the Dodgers, and Marte's already on fire. Jock Peterson, a lefty, so Jock Peterson's going to be in the lineup today. He's been really good for them. I don't know. Never mind. Jock Peterson's not in the lineup.
I might bet this. Miami's been winning games. What are they? 7-3 in their last 10.
7-3 their last 10.
And I mean, they're 11-10 in their last 21 games. And they had a series at Dodger Stadium. They had a 3-game series against the Phillies. I mean, it's not, they haven't played the easiest schedule. I mean, it's not like they've had a grueling schedule, but I mean, hold on. They're an above 500 team over the last 3.5 weeks. Plus 154 against an Arizona team that I don't think is any good.
My only retort to that would be Miami is 7-3 their last 10. Yes, 4 of those wins are extra inning wins. So it's just there's a little bit of luck there too. So I just don't know how long.
Here's my suggestion. This Arizona team, they suck. Their bullpen sucks. Just wait until Gallen leaves the game and then fade Arizona.
They're rested and ready to go too, though. So
they could actually have the week off. They could be in a cryo chamber. I don't care. They're horrible.
This is kind of the same thing I said about freaking the Red Sox. You got Arizona coming off back-to-back wins at Dodger Stadium. I don't know. I'm taking it. I'm gonna take it. You guys don't have to tell me. I'll do it by myself.
Okay.
Sorry,
screw you guys. I'm betting myself.
I'll just do it by myself.
I'm doing it myself.
Okay.
Screw you guys. You guys you pass up on good value when it smacks you in the face. I'm presenting you some good value. You're passing. All right. Let's do community top or dog of the day. We're doing right. No, we got your homework assignment was to think of a name for that. By the way.
Dude, it's the dog of the day. Who do you think I am?
Someone who was going to
Walt
come
Disney?
Up with a cool
Can't
name.
come up with this fucking thing.
Walt Disney?
Yeah.
All right, dog of the day. So I'm going to put the Nats up there because a lot of people like the Nats at plus 110. The Royals, Rays, no. Giants, a lot of people like the Giants at plus 120. Dodgers, Reds, no. Brewers, Red Sox. I like the Brewers. We'll put the Brewers as an option. Rangers, Twins. A lot of people like the Rangers. All right, so here's the first 4 contestants as far as dog of the day. I'm going to go through and only put teams on the poll that people liked. Like, we're not going to go through every game. If everyone picked the Phillies, I'm not going to put the White Sox up or whatever the hell, Cast your votes. It looks like Giants. A lot of people leaning towards the Giants. Give it a few more seconds. All right, so it's going to be the Giants as the first finalist, and let's go through the rest of the games. See if there's any other dogs that people like. Orioles, White Sox, no. Cubs, Cardinals. People like the Cardinals, including me and Toast. Cardinals, plus 128. Phillies, Rockies. I'll put the Rockies as an option. No one's going to vote for it. Guardian Angels is a pick'em. Yankees, Padres is a pick'em. Astros, A's. Put the Athletics on there at plus 145. And then the last one would be the Marlins at plus 154. All right, what's the second finalist here? The first one was the Giants, so the winner of this poll will go up against the Giants for Dog of the Day.
Just really quickly, too, thank you to anybody who watched and commented on me and the Commission's podcast. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
People, I don't know. People are saying Toast is short. Toast is like 6'2".
No, he's not short.
Like, I don't know where the... Someone goes over under Toast height 4'11".
I'll take the over.
Yeah, by about, I don't know, a foot and change. All right, so Giants and Cardinals.
I'm 6'2.5", guys.
Yeah, that's not a short guy. Giants and Cardinals, plus 120, plus 128. All right, what's the dog of the day?
I tried making an underdog. I'm having so many problems logging in, so we're going to have to move it to the next show because I don't know what the hell is going on here.
Beaver's computer skills are in a tailspin recently.
Do you know the guys that you want?
Jess is in the comments.
I would need to see the board and then I can pick them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jess is in the comments, and when people hear her voice, they think she's fat. And Kyle will know how funny this is.
Jesus Christ.
I will say my wife gets a kick out of the comment section. Like, she doesn't watch the show. She just like reads the comments and stuff, and she gets a kick out of it.
Yeah.
She's like, you do a lot of drugs. And I was like, I know, right?
Yeah.
Toast is high. Toast is sniffing dust again. Because he likes the Rockies team total over. So a few more seconds. Giants money line is the dog of the day. The first ever dog of the day.
I like that, actually.
Except the Mets are going to win.
Except Kyle Harrison's going to fucking deal.
I like the price. Yeah.
So it's the first ever dog of the day is Giants money line. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll be live probably around 11. No, not probably. Definitely at 11 a.m. Eastern time. You want to know why? Because UCapper's coming on, and he has another show at 11:15. So we literally have a 15-minute window to get the basketball in before he has to go, and then we'll do baseball. So we'll schedule the baseball for 11:30, but if you guys were here, maybe we'll start a little earlier. The MLB games do start at 1 Eastern time tomorrow, so we don't want to take too much time. But you could plan, if you're just coming for the baseball, shoot for 11:30. That's probably when we'll be starting. So I'm going to post a few more bets on KyleKirms.com. So if you're subscribed to Sauce Network Plus, just stay tuned. By the way, I think the Sauce Network app is back up in the Google Play. It had been down for like 6 months now. So
wow.
So I think that's back up. But either way, and I'm actually, if you're subscribed to Sauce Network Plus, listen to this. So if the Sauce Network app isn't working, you can download an app called Spaces. It's available on Android or the Apple Store for free. It's not you don't pay for it. And when you download the app, it's called Spaces. Just log in with the same email in that app that you use on KyleKirms.com, and it will automatically send the bets to your phone. So if you are logged in on Spaces and Toast posts a bet at 11 at night or something, you're going to get a buzz, and it's going to say Toast has posted MLB bets. So if you don't have the Sauce Network app, because sometimes it's not always working, just keep Spaces on your phone. If you want that. If you don't want the notifications and are cool with the email, cool. But some people like to get notified when we post, and you can with the Spaces app or the Sauce Network app. So go in the App Store, type in Kyle Kirms, the Sauce Network, Spaces. All three of those work. Oh, Sauce Network app is up. Yeah, I got an email saying my app got approved from Google. The thing is, they're always changing their parameters, so it'll get approved, and then in 3 months, I'll get another email from Google saying your app's been disapproved. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. So, all right, everyone, thanks for watching. It won't even let me go to your site. You might have some parental controls on your browser. It might be on your end there.
I used to have those.
Everyone have a good one. I'll post the bets up in a sec. Talk to you in the morning.
Have a good night, guys.